Time now to move on to the 1,000 guineas. The Sunday afternoon, the second classic of the season for the fillies. It's the 200th running of this prestigious race, and at the top of the market we've got a formidable trio that we've seen a bit of in recent times. Mr Abdullah, Mr Quealy, and of course Mr Cecil. They saddle the favourite, Hot Snap, who has smashed the Nelgwyn field last weekend. 25 to 1 into 3 to 1 favourite. Can it be beaten, Liam?
Well, I mean, if you'd asked me straight after the race, I'd have said, well, obviously yes, but having looked at the speed figure that it got that day, it was very impressive. I mean, it comfortably took an all-weather maiden in October, but I mean, it was rated 78 after that, and if let's say if it was with a more wily trainer, it might have been running a 0 to 80 handicap at Thirsk in about a month's time or something, being punted off the boards. But no messing about with this one from Sir Henry. Obviously, ran straight up in the Nelgwyn, won that easily from a good yardstick in Sky Lantern. It was still green that day, but once it hit the rising ground, it really did power away. It won absolutely easily. There's a case that you could rate it in maybe the mid 110s already, and it's got endless scope for improvement. I think 3 to 1 is a very fair price.
Said less wily trainers haven't actually trained 6 winners of the race, and probably aren't looking to nick $5 punting at Beverley.
Exactly, that's the point. But we all know there are types that would do that.
Mr Abdullah, we're going to go for a touch at Yarmouth. I mean, you've got to respect them. God, what a performance it was, and they've won the race so many times before. They know what they've got on their hands here, and the way it won that race, I don't see much that can beat it. Moving down the field, Just the Judge is the second favourite with us here at Star Sports. It's 5 to 1. It won the Rockfell. The form doesn't stand up with that Nargres that ran last weekend. The main negative is that at Newmarket July meeting last year, I got told this is the one to back, and I backed it at 20s. This is the only anti-post flat bet I've had, so for that reason we're probably doomed.
Well, I mean, you're doing okay if you got it at 25s, but I mean, it's really lingering around the top of the market like a bad smell. Just the Judge here. Unbeaten from the Charles Hills yard. It's not done anything wrong so far, but it's just one of those horses that it just looks great in the paper. It's got 3 1s next to its name. The trainer's been really positive about it. It's not done anything on the clock. The Rockfell was a pretty poor renewal by Rockfell standards last season. I think it's a shocking price at 5s. I would be quite happy to lay that top price for as long as we possibly can.
Do you want to buy half my bet at 20s?
No, I actually don't. I would probably have it in about 20s.
Right, there you go.
You can't take 20s. But
if you call the office, I'll give you Liam's private number. He's willing to lay 20s. We'll have to get him a gambling commission licence first. We're fully aware of that. Right, so we think Just the Judge can't possibly win. Be nice to see Charlie have his first classic winner, but maybe he's got a bit of a longer wait than 2 weeks. What a name, the French raider, Mr Dangels, or however you pronounce it. I get it wrong every time.
Yeah, including that time.
Exactly, thank you, Liam. I won't even go into your northern accent. The important thing is to say, it's hard to assess this form. Second behind Olympic Glory when it ran in France. It's won 3 of its 5 races. However you pronounce him, he had McPhee. He knows a decent horse. He knows how to win a Guineas. Can he win it with this guy? That's
spot on. I think that he's much more appealing at a similar price to Just the Judge at about 5 to 1. Given that, I mean, he was second behind Olympic Glory, as Luke said. I mean, running against the Colts with a 2-year-old, I mean, it takes a decent filly to do that. Don't think she really liked the heavy ground that day either. And she won the Prix Imprudence first time up, which is the main French trial for this sort of race. Obviously, Mikhail is no stranger to classic success. I think that it's Mikhail. We're going for Mikhail Delzange is my pronunciation of that. But I think that she's probably got a little bit to find, but she's already got the form in the book compared to the likes of Just the Judge. And I think about 5 to 1, I wouldn't put anyone off in each rate there.
So what you're suggesting is perhaps a match bet. What's a name to beat Just the Judge?
I would be steaming into What a Name at anything like 10 to 11 in a match bet with Just the Judge.
As you know, here at Star Sports, not only will we have hundreds of markets on the race, but we're also willing to price things up for you should you wish to call up and ask for it. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone, 08000 521 321. And if there's something unusual, something a little out of the ordinary, don't be afraid to ask for it. But 4th in for the O'Brien team, they're always going to have a fancy run in this ace. And Moth is a 9 to 1 shot who ran 2 sort of mediocre races before absolutely hacking up at the cover last time. Once again, pretty difficult to assess. I mean, what did it beat that day?
Yeah, well, I mean, what did it beat that day? It's a good question. I mean, it went off a short price favourite for both of its maidens last season. Well back both times. It was a short price, but they're both in heavy ground, seemed to get bogged down, and that pretty good turn of foot at the Curragh last time, but it was beating just all right, substandard sort of maiden horses. Really, it's got to improve quite a lot for that. Obviously, it's going to be supplemented. That needs to be taken into account. Obviously, coming from such a powerful yard, but I'd rather be a watcher than a backer about that.
I agree, and the other one I couldn't be with is Dermot Well's Big Break. Won a decent Group 3 at Leopardstown, just doesn't look good enough for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It represents a different form line, so at least you're coming from it from a slightly different angle. But she needs a major step up to challenge the market leaders, and she'll probably go on, win a few listed races, some Group 3s in Ireland later on this year. But I think that she's got a little bit to prove.
Well, that brings me on to my selection for the race. I do think Hot Snap will win it, but at the price of 3-1, it doesn't represent value. And the horse that was second in the Nell Gwyn, that came clear of the third, is a horse called Sky Lantern. Did nothing wrong in that race at 12-1. Of course, to the odds once again, you're on at 3-1 for it to come third, and you're only on at 3-1 for Hot Snap to win the race. Thought it did nothing wrong. I like the way it stuck its head down, and for me, my selection for the 1,000 guineas will be Sky Lantern each way at 12-1. If I had to press you for a selection, Liam?
I certainly wouldn't put anyone off Sky Lantern each way. I mean, she drifted after her performance in the Nell Gwyn, which on the face of it didn't look great at first, but now it looks very good after seeing Hot Snap's figure. There's a possibility that Hot Snap might bounce off her first effort, so I mean, Sky Lantern could even win this. But I think Hot Snap's a very worthy favourite, but Sky Lantern each way also is a decent shout.
I'm disappointed I agree with the French-speaking lad from Mansfield. That is more of a concern than my bet on Just the Judge. But with whatever you back, we wish you the best of luck. And remember that phone number is 08000 521 321.